If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rule. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd, and here we have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just here ready to talk about a lot of interesting things this week. Some stuff the basketball world, of course, the men's and women's side. Another week of build for AEW. Of course, CM Punk completely just executing the final humiliation ritual, possibly. Maybe there are more, but man, this one... This week, this is an all-timer for Big Phil. Big CM just went over there and just, bowed down in a way that I didn't know it was impressive in a certain way, but just the audacity of it was just incredible.
It was like a PR rollout. It was like like the way that the Clips album rollout is going with all the interviews and the single and everything, and everyone's who interviews about it and everything, and him talking and Pusha T talking about his situation with Kanye, situation with Travis Scott is like much. This man showed up. I don't know why a camera got it out to show him walking backstage with Randy Orton, but a kid walked up to him and said, "Hey, CM Punk," and he's like, "Fuck out here, little nigga." Like that was like that. Well, how did that get? They were like, "Yeah, we gonna put that one out and release it to the public. People need to see this one, man."
Incredible.
Yeah, the traditional like in front of a big crowd like hype up thing, almost like the weigh-ins at a boxing match that they do now that they've done over the last couple of years. I think it was actually kind of fun actually, but that where he goes out there, he apologizes to the fans and everything. Yeah, and then the match
and completely changes the definition of like what the fuck he said. He's like, this shit wasn't about Saudi Arabia at all.
Yeah, he's like, I woke up and I felt bad. I felt like being mean to the Miz today. It's like, yeah, you were mean to the Miz. However, what you said while being mean to the Miz is also talking about this particular country that you're in.
I don't know, man.
The fans were upset about not about you being mean to the Miz, about you being mean to the land they stand on.
I pointed this out on Twitter. I was like, this does not seem as loud as the disrespect. And of course, Phil's finest Phil was not sending his best to respond to me. They were like, what more do you want? It's going over to the country. I was like, I ain't hear nothing about no blood money covered dick. I walk up to MBS with it. You know, like, why are we talking to the people? The people weren't involved with none of this.
The part for me that's crazy is find out like the guys or the wrestlers, forget the guys, the wrestlers no longer get like those bonuses. So like he did this pro bono.
Yeah. For the culture.
Yeah, he did this for the free 99. Yeah, man.
He wants that extension real badly.
I'm sure he does. But what I will say is this. If I were a person that had anything on my internet, my social media footprint saying anything negative about Saudi Arabia, I am not going to Saudi Arabia. I don't give a damn if I'm trying to check in or if I'm trying to, peace talks or backtrack, none of that. Look, you can't backpedal if you ain't got no feet. They will take your feet. No, Rich, lay out. They will take your feet. That's all I'm trying to get across. Okay? So go ahead, Rich.
I don't feel like they play like that over there for some reason. Like, they don't really get down with the, having to explain yourself a second time, a clarification. No, they are not with none of the extra,
right.
No, they're not with the back talk. So, like, right. I feel like some of this stuff also didn't pass the smell test. I was like, oh, yeah. So, like, the one nigga, like, that he apologized to, y'all gonna conveniently have that man ringside the next day, huh? That seems funny.
Yeah. I mean, you also got to throw in the part where, like, they threw in kayfabe that he's going there because Cena made him made him go there to get his match. Like, it's all, like, I don't know if we're supposed to forget that part, but it's like, no. They tried at first to make it to where it's like CM Punk is going there in storyline or whatever. It's like, no. CM Punk and Phil Brooks, while there are a lot of similarities, these two different things. CM Punk / Phil Brooks both getting their ass on that plane and going over there. And Phil Brooks / CM Punk said that shit to the Miz or whatever else. And we're not finna play this kayfabe. I went over or whatever else. When them fans, look, when they asked him that stuff, if he had went crazy, would have been in trouble. Not CM Punk, Phil Brooks would have been in fucking trouble if he had said something crazy. So let's not even act. Let's cut the shit. So he went over there and he bowed and he backed down. And look, I ain't gonna give him much grief for backing down because one, he braver than me by even going over there because my ass never even steps foot over there. They even got a chance to back down. No, not a chance.
People were asking me what I wanted from Big CM, if that wasn't enough. Personally, why don't you kiss MBS's feet? That's the least he could do. Or even better. He could give out the same energy, that he put him on the Miz,
Something tells me that would not be wise. Right. So
I don't really think MBS is with that either.
Look, we have gone through enough of this to know now at this point that, and even well before this, CM Punk is there to win the press conference. It don't matter, or the press conference he's in at that moment or in that particular situation. It ain't about consistency. Audience. It's about getting the crowd to be like, I like what I'm seeing right now, and in front of whatever crowd he's in front of right now. So him doing the trans rights stuff, the pro trans rights stuff, or the pro queer stuff. I don't know what to do with that. I hope he actually does believe that stuff in his heart. But as we've seen over this last 5 years now, or 4 or 5 years now, he's there just to win whatever people he's in front of at that moment. And he'll worry about trying to make shit fix it up in post or on the back end later when he gets there. So, that's just where we are. And, it's definitely a contradiction that he's going to Saudi Arabia. No one understands on queer people and also being, pro queer rights. We know that. We know that look funny in the light. Anyone pretending it don't is lying to themselves.
Indeed.
Now, it'd be one thing if you want to go over there and say, I'm here for just spread love and all this kind of stuff. He ain't even positioned it like that. I'm here being pro love for everybody, including people in Saudi Arabia. And I said some that I should not have said about Miz or whatever in regards to your country. But you know what? That's a service to the fans. They ain't got nothing to do with the government. That's about the people. He ain't saying none of that. He wasn't given the chance to even say none of that. There was a lane for him to try to make this work. He ain't do none of that. None of it. He is all straight back down. So, whatever.
Just comedic levels of like between the pushing off the little kid, the apology, the catching the fan in the front row, and then I heard the match was terrible. Like they had a million run-ins. They dropped him on his head. Like there was just a bunch of bullshit.
Rich.
No, I didn't see it.
Rich. Do you remember what Bret Hart said about Hell in a Cell between Undertaker and Triple H, saying that they did nothing that I wasn't expecting?
Yes.
I'm gonna give you the whole match. They lock up. Cena wins the power game. They lock up again. Punk gets the better of it. Cena powders. Punk goes on the rope and goes up on the ropes and does the hang on the rope thing like the Shawn Michaels Dolph Ziggler deal, right? Get back in the ring, and then it the the 5-knuckle shuffle. Set up for the AA escape. Wrestle a little bit longer. Nothing really innovative. Cena basically hits him with 3 AAs throughout the whole match. 3 AAs, he kicks out of all of them. They teased that he was going to go for a super AA, avalanche AA. He escapes. Then Punk finally gets a. There's also a part where they trade each other's, or CM Punk gets put into the STF. He escapes Anaconda Vice. Then Punk gets one. GTS, kick out at 2, gets another one, kicks out. So then you end up getting to a part where they go for the the shoulder blocks. He ducks the shoulder block, ref bump, right? Out comes, or Cena calls for a ref. Out comes Rollins. No, I'm sorry. Punk calls for another ref. Out comes Rollins with the group. Punk has to fight them other 2 dudes. He basically pulls down the ropes while they charge at him. He goes to the top rope and dives off the top rope. Neither one of them catch him. And then, they slam him through the table. One even a good slam through the table. Rollins, keep in mind, Rollins is dressed. He's in a full-on suit with black suit with flames at the bottom of him, right? Red flames at the bottom of it. He takes off the jacket. He has a beater on. Why does all happen? He calls for another ref. Charles Robinson does the recreation of that run from WrestleMania that one year. And Cena then just pounces him to the floor, and he gets in the ring. They argue saying, "You're not finna cash in. What is all this?" They start fighting a little bit. Cena's trying to fight all these guys. Like they are turning the corner on John Cena turning back babyface. They're doing it right now. Right? So Punk and Cena basically clear those guys out the ring. Punk extends his hand out to Cena for a handshake. Like, yeah, you could have screwed me right here. You didn't. I appreciate it, or whatever else. He sticks the hand out for the handshake. I'm like, Punk, you about to get kicked in the dick. You ain't watched this man movies this whole year. Punk catches the low blow, and I don't know what happened by the end of it, but by the end of it, he's getting hurt. No, Rollins comes in, curb stomp. Cena throws him out the ring like a geek. Ref comes to, pins Punk. That's the end of it. Yeah.
That was awful.
So the only...
They asked him for the star rating in the comments.
Oh, buddy. I'll give it a 2. And Rich, you hate these Cena's matches more than I do, more than I have. So you might get this shit, a half a star. Right. But yeah, man, there was nothing like when I'm dead serious when I say this, like it was what I explained in this match, like everything in between it, all the connective tissue of this match is all like chin locks and shit. They didn't do nothing. They basically laid out and let the crowd carry the match. Maybe. Like if you this is one of those, if you put it, like remember how Cena talked about Andre and Hogan WrestleMania 3? If you put that shit on mute and you watch it, that shit ain't actually good. He should listen to his own fucking advice. If you put this on mute, this ain't good. They literally just relied on how over both of them are in that crazy crowd. And the same thing about them Saudi shows. When they have a match into the crowd that they're supposed to care about, them crowds are actually great. They were going nuts. So yeah, man. Saudi deserves, the Saudi fans actually deserve better than what they've been given, obviously. But yeah, man, this was just play to hits. This was flat out play to hits, nothing innovative, nothing game changing. This is a stain on what they had did in 2011 and 12 with each other. Yeah.
A lot of this sounds like Halloween Havoc 98. That's what a lot of this sounds like.
It's better than that, but by relative to the standards of today, you might be onto something. Like nothing's like that was flat out embarrassing. Them in that cage, right? Like that was flat out embarrassing. This is just like, oh yeah, y'all just or Cena just can't have good matches no more. So they just turned into the main event formula of ref bump, people start running in, and we get into the, we let the shit take over from there.
Awful. What we were left with was the enduring image of CM Punk.
Yes.
Passed out next to the Riyadh season logo, which is just, I feel like that's just a work of art. That still image right there, that's a t-shirt right there.
This is what saved him, though.
I think I might make a t-shirt of that.
This is what saved him, though. That camera shot, you don't get that camera shot until after they went dark and came back from going dark. Like, that was a post-show cut. But if that had been, like, literally like 10 seconds after they went dark and came back, that was a shot. Yeah.
Incredible. Look, man. The thing is, we know Phil Brooks ain't shit. But, like, for the fans that keep getting tricked, why do you keep getting tricked at this point?
Gotta let it go. And we're saying, the reason why we're saying is because at some point, at one point in time, me and Rich believed the shit too with him. And then we were like, enough things happened. We're like, all right, this is him trying to win the crowd he's in front of right now. And that was before he even got to AEW. And then it just got worse with AEW.
Yeah. It was like there's nothing he won't say or do to like get through whatever. The man's a survivor.
Yeah.
So, I just hope that he's getting everything that he wants, which is the money. So, have fun with that. But yeah, man, let's move on, man.
All right.
So that was actually supposed to go last, but we stumbled upon it.
That was the biggest thing in wrestling this week.
Yeah. I want to talk about LeBron James and.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Before we move on, because I don't want to fuck up the clip, or whatever. So it's going to be okay. So the way they told that story in that match, like they're gonna, because there was a situation where like Cena pulled out the belt at the end, like after he gave the 3 A's, he was frustrated, he pulled out that belt, and he was like, "What's he gonna do?" And yeah, man, like he was conflicted. They're going to bring back that story beat against Cody at SummerSlam. And he's not going to pull the trigger, and that's going to get him to turn babyface because he didn't pull the trigger. Instead of doing all the low blows and the shit with the belt, he's finally going to have a crisis. He's going to put it down, fight, lose, go out on his sword, and that's going to turn him back babyface. So he can continue this farewell tour as a babyface going forward. And then they'll figure out whatever else with the Rock if they ever get to that. But they're out to get him back to a babyface on the way out.
And then Cody's going to turn heel.
We'll see.
LeBron James has opted into the final year of his deal $52 million or something like that. Final year of his contract. Not something he normally does. He normally opts out and signs another one, whatever he does. So I saw this and I thought that it was very notable. And this came with a statement from Rich Paul, which caused all types of confusion, and just people were like, what is happening here? So the statement
I didn't see it. I only heard about him resigning. Like, oh, okay. And so what happened? What did he say?
So he didn't resign. He just took it. He
opted in. So what did he say about the opting in, Rich Paul?
So first, I should probably explain the significance of opting in. So him opting in just is like, all right, I'm just going to take the rest of the money on the contract right now because it's probably the best offer I can get. And then that kind of actually strips LeBron of the control that he normally has in all this. Now he's basically a guy on the last year of his contract, which the team can trade if they want. But the only thing that might save him is the apron stuff is just so fucking outrageous now that it's like, all right, unless there's true collaboration, I don't think he's going anywhere. But the statement from Rich Paul put that into the atmosphere. He said, LeBron wants to compete for a championship. He knows the Lakers are building for the future. He understands that, but he values a realistic chance of winning it all. We are very appreciative of the partnership that we've had for 8 years with Jeannie and Rob and consider the Lakers a critical part of his career. We understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage in his life and career. He wants to make every season he has left count, and the Lakers understand that, are supportive, and want what's best for him. Everyone was like, huh? So I threw that into ChatGPT. Yes, I burned some natural resources. I was like, is there an ulterior motive here? I asked him also to put that in plain language, because some of the Rich Paul clutch speak, it'd be all over the fucking map. So basically it says, all right, LeBron wants to leave the Lakers if they can't give him a real shot at the championship, even though he respects them. And then in plain language, he's basically saying, I love the Lakers, but if you guys focus too much on the future and not on winning now, I might need to go somewhere else to chase another ring. First, you're not on your timeline anymore, LeBron James. So whatever is good for Luka Doncic is how the franchise should be operating. I think you play this. I think also the Lakers knew this was coming. Apparently, Luka knew this statement was coming. And for me, this feels like the Lakers are resigned to this being whatever it is. This is the last year that LeBron will be in a Laker uniform. Even if he wants to keep it going, like on his own career, like Michael Jackson, this is it.
So, to me, this doesn't sound like any different from all the other things he's done with the Lakers when he keeps ringing up for the options every year. So it's like, I don't know what to do with that. Like, it's I want to win now thing. Go ahead.
And why didn't he either take less money or sign another option?
Because no one takes less money, Rich. No one does that. Like, expecting LeBron James to take less money is like, why would he do that? No one takes less money. No one does. Find me an example of someone that made All-Star and in their career takes less money.
Tim Duncan.
Oh,
Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan. Okay, find me another one.
If you're saying you want to compete at the end of your career?
Rich. Okay. So did Kobe Bryant do that?
No.
Okay.
Because that was backpack. Do you think LeBron James is Kobe Bryant?
Go ahead, say again.
Do you think LeBron James is Kobe Bryant? Like what he's done for that franchise where he deserves that kind of back pay for that?
Oh, no. But he's also like one of the 10 best Lakers ever already. But with Kobe Bryant, the natural thing to bring that up. No. Hold on. He's with this team. Do this. I know you're a Lakers fan. I know you're a Kobe Bryant fan. Imagine he's playing for the Knicks. Now talk about it.
First, I want to get to the Kobe thing. There should be no comparison to Kobe Bryant at all, because that was end of the career money that was like, we weren't competing anyway. There was no one on the books.
So you think if they were competing, he would have took less money?
No.
Okay, then.
No. But he's also not Kobe Bryant. Like he doesn't have 20 years with the team. He doesn't have 5 titles with the team.
If Kobe Bryant...
absolutely not.
Okay, so you're under imagination that Kobe Bryant, if he had just, let's say he was like the trade happened with Chicago, right? What year was that? 06? Was that 07? 07?
We're in a Marty McFly zone.
I know we are, because we're doing this weird thing where it's like this weird particular situation where it's like Kobe Bryant was with this team for 20 years.
But he's asking the team to compete, though. You can easily give to compete when all you have to offer is a mid-level exception. And we know you can't be the second best player on the team anymore.
Who can't be?
LeBron. And win the championship.
Okay, so what are the other options then for them?
Take your ass on. Where do you want to go?
No. What do the Lakers actually want to do?
It looks like the Lakers want one more season with him regardless. Like, and it's not up to him at this point. So it's like either we'll fucking trade you, or next year at the end is the end of the line. Like, we're moving forward with Luka Doncic.
If they did not want him, why did they tell him don't take the option and go somewhere else?
I don't know if he did that. I don't know if they told him that.
You know they didn't. Cut the shit. You know they didn't.
Why would they tell him that? He told them that he's opting in.
People get the word out, hey, I don't want to do this or whatever else. Or if you opt in, we're going to find a place to trade you. That happens all the time. Obviously, they still want him on the team, Rich.
Then why wouldn't they sign him to a new deal?
Because he doesn't want to sign a new deal.
So what does he want to do then?
He's retiring after this year, Rich.
How do we know that?
Because he would have opted in for another year if not. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. He would have did another one of those one-on-ones that he's been doing. You know what I'm saying? He would have did the same shit he's been doing, where it's opt in or do the 2-year one-on-one option or whatever else. He didn't this year. He's done. They caught him on camera, I think they caught him on camera with Kevin Love, and he's like, Savannah's had enough. She doesn't want another year. Isn't this also the most years anyone's ever played this coming year, 23?
I think this will be the record.
Yeah. He's done. So, anyway, in the context of the Kobe Bryant thing, is like, look, I understand that's your team. I understand that's your player. That's your guy. Kobe Bryant, like, had he been with the Lakers for only 10 years, he still would have done the same thing. And besides everyone does this except for Tim Duncan, is like, okay, yeah, like, this is what everyone does when you're still a very good player. You take that. Like, so I don't know why, like, LeBron is any different from anyone else. Like, I don't remember, who was it recently that did this? Like, it'd be one thing if it was like Fred, it'd be one thing if it was Fred VanVleet, and it's like, okay, you're not nearly as good as this amount of money you're making, so, like, we're going to give you 2 more, like, they're going to work in a deal where, like, he's going to make, like, less, but they're going to give him, like, 2 more years. LeBron was second team All-NBA last year. And if he had not hurt his ankle, had an outside chance of getting first team All-NBA. We're talking about a top 10 player in this league. And him and Luka, they didn't, like, Luka was still dealing with that calf strain thing, which in retrospect is like, thank God he was only dealing with this calf strain thing. It could have been worse. He could have tore his fucking Achilles. Like, they have a chance to be better next year. Now, my thing with the Lakers is like, what's the situation with the Reeves thing?
Oh, he's gonna. They offered him an extension this year, trying to lowball him. He said, "Fuck that! I'm gonna play my deal out because they lowballed him last time, and he's gonna get his real money next summer, whether it's from the Lakers or someone else."
This is the last year of this deal.
Yep.
Okay. I didn't know. I thought he was like hitting like free agency this year. I had no idea. Okay. So, like, the team is where the team is.
I don't know how we get better, though. And you say you want to compete for a championship. Like, how does that happen?
Oh, Rich, that's the same way you say that shit every year before then. How's that team that got swept by the Denver or whatever else, how is that going to compete? That's just PR speak. You know that's PR speak.
So, like, I'm like, hey, do you want to get traded or no? Like, that's what it feels like. It feels like, can we send your ass somewhere? Like, yeah, I don't see how this is beneficial for Luka Doncic at all.
I mean, it's beneficial if he wants to play with him. Otherwise, look, here's the real thing. If Luka don't want to play with him, guess what happens to LeBron James?
I mean, he's going to retire next year anyway.
No.
If it goes the way you're saying.
No. in the next between now and February, if there's any point where he don't want to play with LeBron James, what happens?
LeBron gets traded.
Exactly. So if he don't get traded, what does that mean?
Promises were made.
It means Luka still wants to play with him. I know. Yeah. So
I mean, maybe I don't know. Like Rich Paul is still out here acting like they run shit.
Rich Paul don't run shit. We all know this.
I don't know, man. Like, like we're very appreciative of the partnership we've had for 8 years, and consider he's like 8 years. This will be the 8th coming. Like that's weird. And he wants to make every season he has left count, and the Lakers understand that, are supportive, and wants what's best for him. We understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future.
Is leverage PR? He has no leverage. We're done. Come back and play. Look, like, hold on. You decided to opt in. That was your issue. You could have opted out if you wanted to and reach free agency in this terrible free agency market right now. You decided to opt in. Bring your ass to work, like you've always bring your ass to work, and play. If we want you back for the rest of this year, and if you want to retire, okay, you're retiring. I don't like. We all know this PR.
I was gonna say, there's no more money anywhere else, is there?
That's why I said bad PR. That's why I said bad free agency market. There's no money anywhere. The cap, and the thing is about this though, Rich, I don't know if you heard about this. They estimate that salary cap is going to spike up 7% not this summer, the next summer. The summer going into 27 season.
I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah, it came out today. Like, I think now the way they have it, like the cap they kept it like they got rid of caps, it's all cap smoothing. There's no more cap spikes like that allows the duration to happen anymore. So like the most the cap can ever go up is 10%. It's going up 7%, they estimate this year. Or not this year, but next summer. The summer of 26 going into the 27 season. So like there will be money in the summer of 26, not 25.
So next summer.
Yeah, next off season. There will be a bunch of it'll look like an actual what we've accustomed to seeing what is like craziness. This year it wasn't a crazy. Everyone was pitching pennies and trying to get their book straight. That's why the Celtics, what they just did, where it's like, oh, okay, trading off Porzingis, trading off Drew Holiday, Al Horford's not coming back. Like they're trying to get below the apron, and they're trying to get their books ready to try to figure out, what they're gonna do. And they, there also talks of they may trade Jaylen Brown, but like that's been the case for a few years, on and off for a few years. But like they're trying to get their shit together for when Tatum comes back for 26.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens with him.
But what I will say is this, right? Like him, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if you heard about the Walker Kessler talk, right? Have you?
He's been linked to the Lakers in one way or another for like 2 years, so I've kind of put that in Miles Turner territory, where it's like,
right.
Get the fuck out of here, man!
You watch the finals, you're like, thank God that trade never happened.
It's like, bro, people act like it was owed to the Lakers from God that Miles Turner be a Lakers for like 5 years. I was like,
yeah. And it's like, it wasn't even necessarily about him. It was about him and Hill together, not necessarily just Miles.
Yeah, him too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the Walker Kessler thing, like the word or the rumors is like to get him from the obviously Ainge now because it's Utah would be like they're extorting him for like 2 first-round draft picks, and it's like, hey man, maybe that's what LeBron is. Maybe that's what LeBron and Rich Paul are hinting at. But it's like, hey man, do you want to do that, or do you want to take a rental on contract year DeAndre Ayton? I think I take a rental on contract year DeAndre Ayton, and then after that contract year, you don't pay him. You let someone else pay him.
Yeah, DeAndre Ayton don't really sound inspiring. That man's like
no. He don't sound inspired when he gets his contract. When he's trying to make another lick, you get him in that contract year and watch him turn back into 2021 DeAndre Ayton when he's out here looking like fucking David Robinson and shit.
Yeah.
So watch when he's up on some team and he balls out. So no matter where he's at, he balls out, gets suckers another team for a long-term contract, and it sucks on that contract in 26 and beyond. Watch.
I saw people linking him to the Lakers, and I was just like, no, like it just it didn't sit right with my soul. I was like, like think about it, Mike and Jabbar, you know.
Look, we talking about someone just that's gonna catch lobs and shoot like dump offs from LeBron and Luka. I ain't really concerned about him dumping the ball and him in the post. That's not a thing.
This a nigga that make Andrew Bynum look like he has great passion for the game, you know. Yeah, just it's incredible, man. Yeah, disgusting. I don't know what Clutch is up to, but I don't trust him. I'll never trust him. So figure it out.
Yeah, man. Like I think that mostly the main thing about this year's Lakers team is this should be LeBron's last year. The West is like you got to figure out what you're gonna do as far as like art. You need to find out if you're going to pay Reeves or not.
They're not. It's like they offered him the extension now to take it, and he turned it down. So, and they were trying to keep him like until he can get a real deal next summer, right? But they tried to keep him locked in, and
he's going to make like $40 million a year.
They're not going to pay him.
Okay, that's fine. Well, then you need to do what then? Instead of letting him walk in free agency.
Rob Pelinka's specialty is letting niggas walk in free agency. Ask Dorian Finney-Smith, who just got.
I don't know if you heard about the Dorian Finney-Smith thing. Like,
yes, Rob was like, "Hey, his knees is fucked up." They was trying to kill trade value.
That is really nasty.
Very nasty.
If that's real, that's nasty. Like, you normally don't have that kind of stuff like land on GM's hands like that.
That's nasty.
But yeah, man. Like, I think the main thing is like, hey, if he's not gonna, if you don't think you can sign him, you need to get something for him. Like, you need to be like, hey, can we, Dalton Castle or somebody? Like, hey, any chance you are, try to find something for him? And, like, hey, that could
be don't connect.
That potentially, like, look, man, that could potentially, like, LeBron leaves, you get Reeves, whatever, because he makes big money. Like, you can figure out how to fix your books and be able to go into free agency in 2026 and have something around Luka. Like, the main thing for the Lakers should be like, hey, we're going to make the playoffs. We send off LeBron. We get LeBron and Reeves numbers off the books. We hopefully can get Luka past this calf strain thing, have him, healthy going to 2026, and we're the Lakers, and
we get Big Yoke to come through. We get him to get traded from Denver. How his owner was talking about having to trade him soon.
Yeah, that was so. That was I couldn't imagine him saying it. Was that 2 weeks ago? Or was that right at the finals?
I think it was like a week ago.
Yeah, it was like right at the finals. So yeah, I was like, why would you even be saying this out loud?
Put them two foreigners out there. Foreign enough. But yeah. So interesting. I don't know what to make of all this. If it's gonna be a last year, let's hurry up and get the pageantry rolling. Let's get the announcement ahead of the season. We get all the rocking chairs lined up. We can get all the gifts. We can do everything. Just do all the farewells. Let's bring out Dan Gilbert at the Cleveland game. All that shit. So
did you see? I forgot who. It may have been Bill Simmons. They were trying to figure out they were trying to come up with like 3-team trades to try to get LeBron to Cleveland. And so it'd be like Garland goes to Utah, LeBron is in Cleveland, and like Jared Allen ends up on the Lakers or whatever, stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I was just like, I like if LeBron was ever going to end up in Cleveland, he had his chance. Like, what was that, 2 years ago or last offseason? Whichever it was.
I think it was the 2022 season.
Yeah, there was ever a shot.
That offseason.
Okay, yeah, if there was ever a shot, it would have been then. It's a bit too late now. It's a bit too late.
What the Cavs should give him as a going away present?
What?
It should give him a white Hummer. Just like in high school when he got the Hummer.
Something tells me Dan Gilbert ain't finna shell out that amount of money for LeBron for a gift.
I'd get that man a bag of shit if I was Dan Gilbert.
Dan Gilbert got to get his back straight for that one. Like, because, it worked out so poorly from the last time. And then look, can you imagine? We like to been a fly on the wall during the playoffs this year when, we won 60 games. We finally going to do something without LeBron James for the first time in my time owning these boys, right? And then they go out there and they get bounced in the second round. Oh, he must have threw some shit at the wall. Whatever he threw at the wall might still be stuck in the wall.
Absolutely. And this fuck nigga done got itself into WNBA ownership too, apparently. So like
Gilbert did?
Moving on. He's part of the Cleveland ownership group.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So moving to the WNBA, there's a couple things going on.
We're gonna be jumping around between WNBA back to the NBA. Do you want to just continue with the gambling?
Oh yeah, the gambling.
The gambling.
I forgot about that. So one thing I have come to enjoy saying is when I see an interesting performance, for lack of a better word, is gambling.
Yeah.
Such as gambling on the game.
Rich told me that he has found he is quite tickled when he talked to his wife about some dubious scenario that's happening in sports, and his wife then looks at him and says, "Gambling."
Yeah.
How did such a weird coincidence happen? How did all of a sudden, this happen? Gambling. Yeah. So Malik Beasley is under investigation by who are the feds investigating him?
I'm not sure, but for the sake of the joke, yes, the feds are investigating him.
He's under investigation for irregularities involved around like him potentially gambling on games or his involvement in the outcomes of games and
fixing games, numbers, like overs and unders.
Yeah, so a lot of the stuff is kind of funny. My first thought was, hey, Rich. Because Malik Beasley was actually he actually turned back to what he kind of was before he was that Lakers stint where he was a good 3-point shooter, marksman around the league for the Pistons this year. And then the first thing I thought was, hey, Rich, didn't Malik Beasley, didn't he suck so bad he couldn't get into the rotation for the Lakers back when he played? And Rich was like, yep. I was like, well, we were just having this conversation about Clutch. I was like, hey man, black SUVs. I was like, the Federal Bureau of Clutch might be getting a hold of him before the FBI does. So then you start seeing a bunch of funny things, funny coincidences. I think just kind of things you laugh at, ha ha. As far as some of his shenanigans around in his career in the league. Like one was that last year when Giannis blocked his 3-point shot, Giannis imitated his little shimmy he does, and Malik Beasley wasn't having. He was hot, and people were joking like, yeah, he might have fucked that man's parlay or some shit. So, then I'm thinking that's
the best one was when he raced down the court to get that layup.
Now that's the kind of funny stuff we talking about, right? That you see, right? Then there's one that's not quite funny. There's one where in that particular game, the money line, the point spread was 8.5. They were down
9.
They were down 6?
I think they were down 9. And then he had to score a basket to cut it to 7.
They were down 9. The point spread was 8.5. They were down 9, or they were down 8. Someone makes a free throw at the end of garbage time as clock's winding down. He gets the ball off the inbound and he sprints with the basketball down the other side, dunks it, gets inside of the 8.5 to get to the 8, and then the clock ends or whatever else. He's back when he played Minnesota. And it's like, yo, this isn't a normal, I'm going to steal points and piss off the other team type of behavior. Because normally the guys, they go half speed, catch you lacking, and then, put the basketball in, and then PJ Tucker calls you a fuck nigga. Like, that didn't happen here. This was full on, take it 94 feet, full steam ahead and dunk it to make sure I get this to within that 8.5 to get to 8. And I was like, oh, this ain't fun. The other stuff was funny, haha. This ain't funny.
Lock them up.
Yeah. So me and Rich were having a good little joke with JML about that nonsense. I was like, oh, nah, this needs to be, I was having fun with the little jokes and everything. Now, this is like the shit we're like, nah, man, this is like the Donahue shit. This got to get out of here. We got to get this out of here.
Look, man, the scandals like we keep seeing it with these marginal players, right? The Terry Rozier investigation, Jonte Porter.
Yep.
Now Malik Beasley, a star player, is going to fall under this shit eventually. Like,
yeah,
it's going to happen. And I'm preparing people now for this shit. Be ready, because we about to see, like, you remember how they always talked about in the old, when I was growing up, they would talk about how people used to fix college basketball games and shit and whatever. And then it was like the mafia was involved with the shit and like all this other shit. Bro, like the shit that they got now or whatever, like as far as these gambling apps, the partnerships with the league, how quick just your layperson can get involved in this. This could be 50 times bigger than that shit. Like that used to happen like in the 80s and 90s. Yeah. And because there wasn't real money in that. But now they've got all this crypto. They've got all these ways to hide money or whatever. And it's like, we will not know what to trust like soon.
Yeah. So, I mean, by the time the Jonte Porter stuff happened, for the last year and change, I've been making jokes about on this show on and off in front of Rich. Rich knows this. I'm making tons of Michael Porter Jr. Throwing Game 7 of the the West Conference semifinals against Timberwolves at the crib. I've been making that joke the whole time. Like,
they traded him today.
Yeah, yeah. And they traded him for Cam Johnson, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. There is no doubt in my mind that this is happening. Like, I don't want to say is widespread, but like, there's no doubt in my mind that like, I'm not necessarily talking about like necessarily the outcome of the game, but like, I think money line stuff, I think that's definitely at play. In like the same way that she used to be with like overs and unders with refs, where it's like, hey man, like the refs can easily control whether or not a game goes over or under. Just start calling fouls or swallow the whistle. Like what the Donahue said was happening, right? Like players know how to influence certain things. And like garbage time is an easy way to do it with a high point spread, with a point spread above 5. So yeah, man.
I hope betting in pro wrestling never takes off like this. Look, you got to be a goddamn fool to bet on pro wrestling anyway. I know some people that do it, but like, and they be on these Eastern European over there. They be letting them do it online.
That's like betting on a soap opera. Like why? You can do it, but why would you want to?
Full degeneracy.
Yeah, that's. We might have to get a hold of Floyd and Tom and be like, hey man, I understand y'all like to put a little something on the games and feel alive and everything, but like don't let it turn into when it's basically a drama that's unfolding that you betting on stuff. We can't be doing that. That's a little bit too far.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like Adam Silver needs to address.
Get Brewhaven out of here. Get him out of here.
God damn it.
Get him out of here.
That is sick. I'm not repeating that.
Apologize or get booted. Like, what are we supposed to do with that in the chat, man?
I'm not reading that out loud.
I'm not reading it out loud either. But like, we gotta stop the show. We gotta put the show in park and be like, hey, what are we supposed to do with this, man? All right, thank you. He apologized. He apologized. I know damn well he don't mean that shit at all. Terrible. He don't mean that apology.
Sick man.
Yeah. All right. So where do we go from here? We go W now?
WNBA. So today they held a press conference. Kathy Engelberg. I haven't even done videos on my YouTube channel about this stuff. Yes, I've saved this all the loving for you guys right here, as Whitney Houston would say. But man, they announced
side chick anthem, by the way.
Oh yeah. They announced that they will be expanding the W to go up to 18 teams, James, over the next 5 years. They're adding franchises in Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia. First thing that jumped out at me was,
are they going to bring back the shot name or no?
nobody knows yet. I don't think they're gonna go back to the Detroit one. I'm not sure. The Rockers, I don't know if they're gonna do that, but I saw this and I was like, they are running from the South like a plague. Like, there's only one
Tennessee,
team.
Right?
Yeah, that's the Tennessee Summit is like an ownership group. Like Candace Parker's in it. There's a couple other people that are in it trying to get a team.
I think Payne's involved in that too, because that's been talked about for a few years.
Yeah. So like, what the WNBA reporters are saying, and they also asked Kathy this at the press conference. They're like, "Yo, so like, all these teams also have NBA franchises in there. Is there any correlation here?" And she tried to give like some sly answer, saying, "No, that's not necessarily the case." But yeah, like they've got the NBA arenas, and they're obviously seeing what's going on with Golden State this year. They're making a fucking ton of money over there, like just using Chase Center and shit like that.
Yep.
But I saw this and I was like, Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia won. I was like, why the fuck is Cleveland getting the team? She said a lot of stuff based on analytics. I don't know how much to believe that or whatever. Each of these teams allegedly is paying $250 million to enter the league or whatever. Where the fuck is this?
So when are we getting a player strike?
Where the fuck is this money going?
No. So like, I'm on the same thing. Forget where the money is going. When is the player strike?
I don't know if there's going to be a season next year at this rate.
There has to be,
because
if they're going to put because it's similar to, I don't know if you heard about like some of these entrance fees for what potentially is going to be for Seattle and for Vegas for when they jump to 32 in the NBA. They're like, all the other teams are going to stand and make like $200 million off the entrance fees. Like they're going to pay like $5, $6, $7, $8 billion to get in. Right.
Crazy.
So, and then also not take TV money for a certain number of years before they can finally get TV money. Right. So the interest fee for the W being $270 million, like that has to, that's beyond transformative.
Like just 5 years ago or 6 years ago when the Liberty sold, they sold for $10 million. They're worth like 240 or 300 million now, or whatever. Right. So I see Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia. One, I don't like the Cleveland spot getting a team, but whatever. Dan Gilbert's in there. Is
it just because of Cameron Gilbert, or is it just a small market?
That too, small market, and it's like they're adding 3 Eastern Conference teams, presumably, or whatever, right?
And then just that region also. They'll move some of these teams that are basically on the Mississippi River West, like they do in the NBA.
Yeah. Like all the Midwestern shit is covered or whatever, and then they were laughing about it, saying the Big Ten beats the SEC again or some shit like that. Like at the press conference, I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, think about
you
all
can't really put no W.
Fan.
Go ahead, sorry, say again.
I was like, think about all them fucking college hoops fans from the SEC. They have one fucking team in the geographic region, and that's the Atlanta Dream.
Yeah,
and the closest thing is the Dallas Wings or whatever.
Yeah.
Like. New Orleans should be looking at a team. Tennessee should be looking at getting a team.
Yes, Tennessee. Yeah,
they should be putting the team in Florida. But
Florida's tricky because it depends on where you put it.
Yeah.
Also, so like you imagine,
I put it in Orlando.
Like, well, there's also the part where it's like, all right, you can't do it in Orlando because the DeVosses own that.
I mean, they could get in. Like,
do players want to play for the DeVos other than it's a job?
I would have to look at that because I feel like there's still ownership groups that I don't know. What I think the big deal with the ownership group was with the Dream was the lady was actually in politics.
Okay.
I don't know if the DeVos family necessarily is in politics. I know they're big donors. But
when old girl was the what do you call it? A few years ago. So that's the only reason why I even know the DeVosses even own the Magic. There's that. Like if Mickey you said the Florida market, right? If Mickey Arison wants to own the WNBA team, you'd be like, easy, real easy, real quick, do whatever you do. That's perfectly fine. It's one of the best owners in the NBA. We can easily get that done. But the DeVosses,
I think you got to look at the Carolinas too. Like obviously with South Carolina being right there, like there's an appetite for basketball there. So like I saw this and I was just like, what the fuck? But
I think that a lot of that's going to come down to like a lot of the league's politics as far as dealing with like that the local governments in the South, in the Deep South. Like it's going to be obviously, you know, as you mentioned LSU, as you mentioned South Carolina, but like when you come to like putting a WNBA team in not in New Orleans necessarily, but like in Louisiana is like, hey man, like this whole Pelicans thing has been a failed project. Now, if there's a different ownership group, yeah, but like if the Bensons are involved or attached to this or not, I don't know if this Bensons even still, you know, it still is the Bensons. If the Bensons still involved in this, you don't want them involved with W. They're bad owners.
Yeah.
Like they are out here using the medical staff from the Saints to run the medical staff, or at one point for the Pelicans. No. So you got that. So like there are places where it's like that makes it like the only part, the one that makes sense for you, like the one side was like, as you mentioned, the ownership group of the Tennessee Summit. That would make all the sense in the world.
They hinted at like the Houston Comets probably being next on the list to get brought back. So I was like,
cool. I
was like, you got to have the Houston Comets. I was like, so the other thing I was thinking about was like,
but still, that's South, that's Texas again. That's not the Deep South, necessarily.
But I saw like I saw some people taking her comments like saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna create more jobs for the players." I'm like, not necessarily. I was like, they're still not talking about roster expansions, which is something they desperately need in the WNBA because as soon as a couple of injuries hit, you're down to 11 and 10 and 9 players, and then you're signing people on hardship contracts.
Right.
And with all this additional money coming into the league, you have to eventually open up more roster spots just for the health of the fucking athletes. And then like I think they're gonna overexpand too soon. They're doing all this on Caitlin's back right now.
Oh yeah. I mean, Rich, I was already in my mind thinking like, hey man,
this is too much, too soon, too fast.
Like what you finna see is you finna start seeing like some of these offensive numbers skyrocket. Or individual offensive output skyrocket over the next 5 years from this expansion dilution of the league. Like, you gotta remember, the league at this point is 144 players. So
156 now.
Sorry?
156 now. 156, it changed with the Valkyrie.
So basically, you got 1/3 of the workforce size that the NBA has. Imagine if the best 156 were in the NBA and they played each other all the time. Like, those games are basically playoff games. You're getting playoff level defense. So all of a sudden you turn it into, we get to play the Sixers? You know, the women's equivalent of the Sixers, right? Oh, we get to play
Cleveland?
We get to play the Spurs without Wembanyama? Oh, okay. Like, there's going to be some night. I mean, that, and you know, like a lot. Think of how we talk about the Wings.
Yeah. They're very bad.
Them teams stand to be worse. These new teams stand to be worse than the Wings are. Where everyone comes in and they get their numbers.
There's only one possible exception to this, is which
foreigners. They get rid of that stupid foreigner rules.
Well, there's that, and then like it's like, all right, if the front office is modernized to more of an international approach, which some WNBA reporters are already like aghast at, and so there are enough American players. I'm like, they've clearly been keeping foreign players out. Like, so I think there's enough talent overseas to fill at least some of these teams to where it's like, oh, there's more quality players that we don't actually know about or whatever that are somewhere. But look, in 2025, the Golden State Valkyrie got added. Next year, the Toronto Tempo will be added. Year after that, Portland will be getting a team in 2026. Oh, excuse me. Portland and Toronto are both next year.
Okay.
They take 27 off. Then they add Cleveland, then they add Detroit in 2029, and then Philadelphia in 2030. There's a fucking expansion draft every fucking year over the next 5 years, except once. Like,
yeah,
this is, I feel like, with the combo of the new CBA, Caitlyn and like everything surrounding her with her injuries, if you know you're an owner and stuff like that, you're walking in with all this data to negotiate against the players without Caitlyn's numbers. And then obviously, do they really fuck with Caitlyn like that? Like with the players, like is she gonna eventually have like get the tap on the shoulder to come help, fight the battle? Or is it like some weird thing where they don't want her involved and it's just like
if they want some money, they'll get her involved. Or if they want more money, they'll get her involved.
Like this shit is like gonna be weird over the next like 5 years.
Do you remember the 2000? I want to say 2009 to 2011. There was a work stoppage in the NFL.
Yeah.
You remember who were like when they went to court? Like who were the named players in those lawsuits?
It was like the quarterbacks, right? It was like Drew
Peyton
Brees,
Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. Caitlin Clark's name got to be on some paperwork to make this shit, to get this shit going in the direction they wanted to go, or if they were smart about it. So yeah, man, like whatever. Fuck the online stuff. That's fake. That's not real life. Like if you know what the amount of money that these interest fees are getting spread to these getting spread to these other ownerships. Like, you need to get your piece of the pie for this. That's how this works. And obviously, it's still, a labor force versus owner versus management. Management's always going to have the advantage, but you got to make sure that, like, as the money skyrockets, that you're getting something, representative of this new change of what the money is available. Got to at least try.
Yeah, and the players are like reading these prepared statements now instead of taking questions and stuff like that, like basically on behalf of the union. I saw like Sick Polson doing it, Sophie Cunningham, a couple other people that were doing it. And it was like, okay, this feels like adversarial kind of, but I don't know. Like, I am looking at it like I'm afraid, like I feel like a lockout is happening. Like, I don't see how it doesn't happen at this point. With adding all those, this is just like shark. This is like steak to the wild animals throwing three expansion teams on. This is far more
alarming. This is far more alarming than like hell. Like even the work stoppage in 2012 in the NBA. Like this is far more alarming. It's like that was over. Hey man, there's a new TV money coming in. It is, and the numbers are jumping. Like we need,
they've got new TV money. They've got needs for roster spots, and then you got fucking 5 more teams coming.
Yeah, like that. And that back then was like, hey, there's new TV money coming in, and and also the owners don't like player movement or players sign where they go or whatever else, right? After the LeBron decision shit, like this is flat out like, hey man, this is like a land grab, and so yeah, they better. Yeah, they got to. There's got to be a work stoppage. It sucks for fans, but there's got to be. Like, so when this happens, don't be surprised.
Yeah, like I just don't know how to avoid
especially
it.
Also Unrivaled too. Yeah.
All right, Unrivaled is going to be like this is what makes it beneficial that Unrivaled was already established last year.
That's what I'm saying.
So they're going to next year,
right? It's going to put some money in some of the players' pockets to where they, they're able to hold up a little bit longer without having to go overseas to get their money because of what happened. Get example of some shit like happened with Griner, right? So yeah.
So I don't know, man. The All-Star stuff came out today, and the starters pool dropped, and then the voting totals dropped, which were comedy in a lot of cases. Brother, I don't know if you've seen some of the stuff I was sending, but I'll start with the All-Star starters. So your captains, Caitlin Clark and Nafisa Collier. Aaliyah Boston was 2,000 points, 2,000 votes away from being a captain. Paige Beckers, Alicia Gray, Sabrina Ionescu, Nneka Ogwumike, Satu Sabali, Breanna Stewart, and Asia Wilson are your starters pool. Caitlin will have her first pick. Ironically, the team with the best record is the Minnesota Lynx, so Cheryl Reeve will be coaching Team Clark, presumably. which is fucking hilarious.
So if it's still remember, because I don't pay attention to like these the NBA All-Star thing, but if it's the same rules, I'm assuming like the first pick of the starters, then they switch the pick order for the reserves, right?
Probably. They'll probably do it exactly.
Yeah, like almost like a snake draft. Okay. So that
reserves get announced on Sunday.
Well, I mean, as far as the picking, okay, that's cool. I mean, as far as like, does Caitlyn have I'm assuming she has the second pick of the reserves, but
probably
okay.
Yeah.
Just trying to make sure treat my mind of like the comedy of of certain potential outcomes. But yeah. So who do you think Caitlyn picking first?
She's picking Aaliyah Boston. She's already said in the interview she's going to try to get her own teammates for sure.
Oh, that's nice. So that's nice. So when Nafisa picks Asia and beat their ass,
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. You know what I think is actually going to happen?
What do you think?
Nafisa's going to pick UConn. She's going to pick Paige. She's going to pick Stewart. I think Asia's going to end up on Caitlyn's team. Because I think the first person she's going to pick is her business partner, Breanna Stewart.
So remember, I want to say we had a conversation off air. Maybe was it 2 weeks ago? And I was alarmed about like, hey man, Asia Wilson's like shooting numbers look awful. They're getting fixed. Ever since I had that, like, oh my god, what's happening? Like, they're getting normal? They're starting to look normal. So I'm like, I'm so it's like, oh, she's
look. It's just volatile at the beginning of the year.
Right. But like, bro, but I was looking at it as like, okay, so she's one or two, right? Like, remember how Jokic was like first or second or top 5 or top 3 in like all these stats last year? Asia Wilson is first, second in points, rebounds, blocks, and steals right now. It is like, I was freaking out about her shooting splits. Meanwhile, like, she's still fucking incredible. So yeah, man. So if they don't, I would suggest that if she wants to pick Aaliyah Boston, she's well in the right too. All I'm saying is having to guard Nafisa Collier and Asia Wilson. Nobody got on the same team. Nobody's got the. Can we already do the Shaq and Kobe meme of them? Camera see feet on the floor and then the camera pans up to them and they just dominate. I just see it happening already. So if she wants to do that, good luck.
I also heard people throw out the theory that they know Collier isn't going to pick Boston first, so you could pick Aaliyah Boston second. And then you could take Asia first.
Should Aaliyah Boston be one of the 5 first picks in the draft?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you're going to need a big person.
No, I just don't think she is one of the. Once you take Caitlyn and you take Nafisa off of it, and you be like, all right, the next 5 picks, or the first 5 picks, she's one of the 5. I would say soon after that, but not in it. But maybe that's just
like. The only thing, because all right, like you have Stewart and Wilson, and then it's like they have to split them, and Collier makes it funny because Collier plays up essentially. So if you're Collier, you only need one of them out of Wilson, Stewart, and Boston.
Yeah,
and then Nneka Ogwumike is there too. So like. Who's having a great season. I don't want to slight her at all. But
she always does.
Yeah, no, but she's even, a little more reinvigorated, some say.
Okay.
I watched her the other night, and it was like the commentators were talking about her. They were basically like this living legend, essentially. And then like Skylar Diggins was in this, gave a really nice speech about her. At one of the few things nice that Skylar Diggins does, she's just angry at the world. But
hey, I'm about to say, man, like it seems like she a crash out now. Like she's been really angry. I don't know what's going on, but she seems really angry this year. And it ain't just the whole foul thing that happened the other day. Like it's been a couple of things that's happened besides that, like this year, like the whole situation with the stud buds or whatever else, and that like it also don't help that like. Her hair makes it like she's angry and frustrated.
I mentioned that in a video that I made. Like, so I said
it looks like she's at her wits. It looks like she's pulling. It looks like she's pulling her hair out. And she's frustrated at the world. But like that's just she's got her hair up in a sloppy bun thing, whatever. But it looks like she's frustrated as hell all the time. She's on edge. That's what it looks like.
I was like, everything I know about Skylar Diggins that I knew back then was like the aesthetics were like just out of this world. Like everything was perfect, the hair, the makeup, just whatever, right?
Yeah.
And now she got these fucking huge arms or whatever. Yeah. She been in the gym, you know, and then she wears a hair kind of like a wild woman now. It's like a whole rebrand, pretty much. And, you know, she's coming off of what I think she got divorced in the off season. So, you know, you never know how that affects somebody. So it's, you know, she's no longer Skylar Diggins Smith.
I don't want to speculate into why that, like, that.
They asked her about it.
If this were pro wrestling, that's a great, like, slow burn of a character change, right? Because all of a sudden she got divorced, all of a sudden the hair's crazy, she on edge or whatever else. But, like, yeah, man, like, she just, you know, we knew to leave, but I remember last year, I remember her being, like, hearing about she's just ready to, you know, just blow up at any given moment. I mean, even last year, I don't recall hearing that kind of stuff.
She's had like different issues with organizations. Her and Tarasi famously have smoke, and they used to be teammates or whatever.
Okay.
So like she's not one to fuck with, apparently. So, but as far as like the starter pool, Alicia Gray having the best year of her career. She's an awesome watch. Left-hander, shoots threes. Career year at the age of 30. She makes the Atlanta Dream very fun to watch. Paige Becker's having an awesome season. Like she's playing by her damn self. I watched the game.
She's healthy anyway.
Yeah, when she's healthy, she's missed some games due, I think, to a concussion, and she had a knee issue once.
I got a question. When do we get Dan Patrick to bring Juno Oriema back onto his show to talk about how fucking wrong he was about both Caitlyn and Paige? He said neither one of them was going to come into the league and do anything at the start. They got to grow into the roles. They come in and step in day one, basically, or week one, and they're really fucking good.
Yeah. I didn't know he said anything about Paige. That was like kind of crazy. Everybody has seen the Caitlyn.
Remember that whole? He should pay to get the
Caitlyn footage confiscated.
Remember that Caitlyn thing last year that he said? He mentioned, he's like, because Dan Patrick, after he said that, was like, you know, you got a good one on your team right now. What do you think she's going to do in the league? And he was like, same thing. She ain't going to do shit coming in. Like in that whole conversation last year, he basically like, neither one of them are physically ready for the grind of the WNBA. These are grown women. And they come into the NBA, into the WNBA, and they're both come in and they're immediately are ready for the grind of the WNBA.
Like,
maybe some old school philosophy. I'm thinking guards ain't going to be good coming in, maybe. But he was wrong, and I need someone to say, "Hey, you're wrong about these two."
Yeah, like I think he should pay to get that footage scrubbed from the internet, or is people gonna play that on loop at his funeral? But I think that this should probably go into the next point. The other voting came in with the media and the fans, which determined the starters. Obviously, the fan voting was wild. Like Lexi Hull was in the top 10 and shit, and
absurd.
Like Kelsey Mitchell didn't end up making it. She's going to be a reserve, it looks like. But they had some interesting rankings and some true player hating by the actual definition of the word player hating. James, Caitlin Clark was ranked as the 9th best guard in the league by the players.
So there's definitely something to that, but how much of that is, and you can excuse it as, well, she's missed so much time, so we put her there.
And I don't know, but the media seems to get it right.
Because hold on, look at, because I thought at one thing I was like, but then I saw the way they rated Kelsey Plum, I was like, oh,
something has happened. Look, she done left that Aces protection zone and went and did her own thing, and she's averaging 21-6.
Right, but she's missed some time, has she?
I think she might have missed a game, maybe.
A game, okay. Yeah, I know she's missed. I know she hasn't missed as much as Caitlyn has or Paige, but I was like, this is weird that
like when Caitlyn's on the floor, she's the best guard in the league.
Did you see that shit when Ricky grabbed her and get the pool?
Yes.
I love this league. It's so stupid. It's silly.
Jackie Young got no player love.
Nope. I think she was 12th, right?
Yeah, they have Natasha Cloud over Caitlyn. Like, that's absurd. It's like, all right, the thing about the Caitlyn thing that drives me nuts is like, okay, this is the ninth best guard in the league, but like, y'all don't guard her like that. Like, y'all don't, like, we know what them scout reports say. Like, y'all be in the press conference, y'all be shitting down y'all leg when y'all got to guard her and y'all got to beat her up or whatever, and start guarding her 85 feet away from the rim. So like, somebody's lying here. I think that in Caitlyn's case, a lot of this year has been, so last year maybe, I don't think people believed it. They guarded her tough last year, obviously, and we saw the flagrant fouls and all that shit, but now they had a year of tape on her or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And then, you know, she's coming in and they're letting her, like, they have determined that...
Force her right, the shoot off her right.
No, not even that, because that was the book on her last year too. But they have determined that the refs are not going to call whatever, so you can just do what the fuck you want to her, right? And she's battled some injury, bad luck, and stuff like that. But I think, you know, the ball's in her court now. Now she comes back, essentially, as the adjustment was made to her. She's going to make the next adjustment, and then it's over from there. But, yeah, just looking at it, like, I know Rich likes to talk about Angel Reese from time to time, but Camila Cardoso is a problem. I mean, as far as we should probably talk about Angel. Angel finished 5th in the fan voting, 12th in the media, 12th in the players. So, look, before Angel started turning it on the last maybe week or two,
2 weeks,
2
weeks about.
Yeah, I don't know if she would have necessarily made my all-star team or whatever. Like, I didn't vote for her, like in the 10 that I got or whatever for the starters, but it should be commended, like, what she's doing so far. I don't know how much of this is because Camila Cardoso is gone right now and she's playing for Brazil, and you know the paint is open for her to operate and stuff like that. But
it's almost like we figured out that having two bigs on the floor at the same time isn't necessarily as productive in basketball. Like, it's almost like we figured that out like 20 years ago.
Yeah,
no, so, I'll take it back. 15 years ago.
They got to solve that. But yeah, the likes of Brittany Sykes being over Caitlin Clark is fucking hilarious, by the way. They have Kelsey Mitchell ahead of Caitlin Clark. James, do you think Kelsey Mitchell's a better player than Caitlin Clark?
No, because I see them play together on the same team. No. Yeah, I did notice that. Like, Kelsey Mitchell was what, like 6th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane, man. Yeah. Another good one here. They had Alyssa Thomas all the way down at 6, right? And they have actually the Alyssa Thomas at 6 isn't bad, but she's an MVP candidate. They have Kiki Iriafen over Aaliyah Boston. That's absurd. Absolutely absurd. There's some fever hating going on, like in this league. The players.
Maybe it's one of those things where it's like overrated, underrated thing. Is like, okay, so they're under, so it's like, all right, they can't both be overrated at the same time. So either you got to ding either Caitlyn or Leah Boston, but you can't ding them both at the same time. That's not how this works.
They did.
That's why I'm saying. That's why it looks funny in the light.
And then, like,
you know what they're doing, and then it's like, oh, but Kelsey Mitchell, she's actually the real one that's really good. It's like, okay, so. Like, at least Caitlyn has a thing where it's the injuries where you can ding her if you want to. You can use that excuse to ding her, but it's like, all right, man. So, like, this is like the troll triplets thing with, like, Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin. It's like, one of them is over, you got to pick one of them that's actually good and one's overrated. And, like, is like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? It's like, they all play together. Yeah. Like, it's, come on. Like, they're all drafting off each other, and and if you want to say they're over, like, the weird picking and choosing game is weird. It's like back in the day when it's like, all right, so who's really good? Is it Peyton Manning is really good, or is it like Marvin Harrison, or is it like Reggie Wayne, or is it like, you know, it's weird when people do this. It's weird. It's like, nah, man, they might just really be good because they all are really good. Sometimes that happens.
Both the media and the players have Wilson over Collier, which by like look at how they both performed this year.
Not especially at the start of this year, no.
Like, brother, no. Like, I don't.
No.
That makes me think Age is actually more in the MVP conversation than I think.
I think she's rectified. I think she's kind of fixing some things the last 2 weeks, but still, even like, nah, man. Like, and obviously Collier's been out, but nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Nith Main said, Rich, do you think a WNBA team will ever make a play for that 7'3" Chinese woman Zhang Ziyu? I actually did see her on there. I absolutely think eventually they will. They will try it. Just, you're 7'3". They're gonna try it, but like I don't know if necessarily. I don't think she'll actually make it in the league. Like from the highlights that I've seen, it's like she's big stiff, but I don't know. It's a very traditional league in some respects. I don't know, man. I saw this and I was like, man, there's some real hate going on.
There's some
nasty out here.
And look, I think some of the players, obviously the fan vote's nasty too. So, I think the media stuff kind of evens it out or whatever else. I think between the players and the fans, I think the one that is funny because, players hate when media gets to vote on these things, and then like we see they votes for this stuff, and you're like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? And it's always it seems always historically when you go look at this stuff, the people that get it right better than anybody else between fans, media, and players is media.
Yeah,
it's always funny that way.
Yeah, so All-Star Game is a couple weeks. It'll be in Indianapolis. So like Captain Clark and then Captain Collier will be picking the teams. We'll see what the reserves look like, and that's going to get real nasty potentially. Look, if I don't see no A. Reese on that shit, oh my God, I can hear it now. I think she's going to get her way in. That I'm going to go on the record and predict that she's going to make it, and I'm going to be like, but she's going to make it. But if she doesn't make it, I'll be like, I have nothing to say.
If she plays how she's played the last 2 weeks and finishes out, she's making it. So we ain't got to worry about that.
Yeah. So.
Hi, I'm Kristen Bell, and if you know my husband Dax, then you also know he loves shopping for a car. Selling a car? Not so much.
We're really doing this, huh?
Thankfully, Carvana makes it easy. Answer a few questions, put in your VIN or license, and done. We sold ours in minutes this morning, and they'll come pick it up and pay us this afternoon.
Bye-bye, truckie.
Of course, we kept the favorite.
Hello, other truckie.
Sell your car with Carvana today. Terms and conditions apply.
I guess we should probably move a little forward to All Elite Wrestling. They were in Seattle, Washington, and that was fresh off of Kota Ibushi returning, and he was in action here. But we'll start with Mercedes jumping out on Toni Storm, which
they went fit for fit.
Yeah, put Toni in the jump zone. She asked if she wanted to play games. This is what you wanted. You want to embarrass me? Let's play. It went from the back to the arena. And then eventually Mina came out and ran Mercedes off. Mercedes said, let the games begin. And, we'll see how that goes from there. So they're putting a little bit more heat back on Monet and Storm, a departure from Mercedes eating dinner ringside.
All right, yeah, that was good. So I saw the outfit from Mercedes and I thought maybe this is like a black alternate version of like Cowboy Carter. Maybe I'm probably way off on this. Maybe there's something else inspiration, but like that's what my immediate thought was. Is like it made me think of like this is like what some of the stuff I've seen Beyonce were doing the Cowboy Carter stuff, but it's black instead of white.
Evil.
Yeah. She commentated it or so whatever. Yeah.
So backstage, then Nick Jackson basically said, hear ye. Tis your founding fathers, Matthew and Nicholas, your executive vice presidents of AEW. Matt then flexed their backstage influence, basically said, hey, man, Will Ospreay and Swerve, y'all match is actually next. Y'all ain't later tonight. It's actually right now. So they're, fucking them up. So they started playing Ospreay's music and then he misses the shit. He doesn't come out exactly, and then he's running out with like the kick pads half undone. He was like taping his wrist and shit. And then one thing I did notice, he did not miss that fucking cue for that Osprey chant.
Nope.
So,
nope, not at all.
So after that, Swerve came out too. They were off guard as well, and they were facing Lee Johnson and Blake Christian. If I was to pick a little tag team to get in there with Swerve and Osprey, this is not a bad choice of guys to do it with. These guys both work. Lee Johnson with the Okada pants on, which I found interesting. But they came out there, and this was a Swerve Osprey showcase and all that, and basically allowed them to get the win. They did like a really cool combo, basically like a they did like something. It was, I forgot what the combo they did was. It was like the I think it was the hidden blade into the house call, if I'm not mistaken.
I think Johnson got pinned just from a house call. Like, I think that there was like a duck thing where like Swerve ducked your boy catching a hidden blade or whatever else. He ducked it, but it wasn't a combination move.
Gotcha.
Like they knocked the person that can interfere with the pinfall out the ring, and then the house call got Lee Johnson out of there. But yeah, we got to talk about Blake Christian. So when you have when you're tan like that, you are not vanilla baby. You are orange sherbet baby. That boy was orange.
Oh shit. But yeah, this was a nice match to get everything started. Basically, like get them a win, and then set up what happened in the post match. Swerve cuts a promo basically saying, year after year, I'm not gonna go another year with dealing with you two. Osprey then up the ante and was like, yeah man, put the EVP titles on the line. So I didn't know those existed.
Right. So I'm like, what the fuck does this mean? Because it's like, all right, so are they saying like they're stripping them of their power? Like the powers of the EVPs have been stripped away, or does it mean like they become the EVPs? What does this mean exactly?
I don't think they become the EVPs. I think they're gonna do the strip stipulation of the Bucks, and this is a way to get that out of there. But I feel like Swerve and Osprey got to put something on the line too. So they got to come up with something. That'll come
out this week or something. Watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I was the Young Bucks, I would play dumb. I would get some titles commission and be like, these are the EVP titles. This is what you was talking about, right? Like, just completely sell that.
Nick and Matt Jackson come out on Wednesday in Ontario, California, in their hometown, and they got some fucking EVP titles. I will scream. That's some shit that's right up their alley to do, to be trolls. Look, if they don't have them on Wednesday, they will definitely have them by All in Texas. They will have fake fucking EVP belts, and a belt place will be them doing the pose. Yes. Watch them, because you know how nasty they are. They will do it. Watch. And they'll do it just so they can lose, and then they can have Swerve and Osprey hold them belts. Just for the visual gag of all this. You know how they are. Watch this happen. They probably been talking about this for like a month and been laughing about this backstage the whole time. Oh, they're idiots. They're idiots, man.
That'd be funny as fuck.
It will be fucking hilarious.
Commission anytime you can commission another belt and get people angry. I think it'd be funny.
Bro, these niggas dressing like Ben Franklin like the last pay-per-view. They're not above this. These niggas is dressing up as Elvis in Vegas for the first show. They're not above this at all. This is right up their fucking alley. They'll do this.
Oh, shit. Oh, so after that, the Bucks basically responded to Swerve. They said, Swerve, you dumbass. You not realize what you just did? And he referenced the AEW employee handbook. Matt said due to Swerve laying his hands on an official, and what Swerve did was he finished the segment by giving the Swerve stomp to the big crowd that was out there with the Bucks in there. They say, you're suspended for the week without pay. Get his ass out of here. And this would pay off later in the night. So then after that, the Don Callis family basically led by Okada and Rocky Romero came up, and they walked up on the Bucks. Rocky then dumps the New Japan lore, talking about the complicated past with the Young Bucks. He basically said, who would have thought from the days of chaos with feuding with you guys in the Bullet Club, all of us on the same side. That's right. All those Wrestle Kingdom openers. Matt then basically, he acknowledged, their shared goals. He talked about, the mutual ambition of we want to get Okada with the belt, essentially, and he'll become the first ever AEW Unified Champion, blah, blah, blah. He said his boss is a prick, talking about Don Callis. We fuck with y'all, we don't fuck with him. Then Trent Beretta emerges. He says, guys, I want you to watch what I'm about to do to Ibushi. I think you're going to love it. And then after that, Konosuke Takeshita stepped in Okada's face. And he was like, hey, Okada, remember, this is temporary. Basically saying, I ain't forgot you, fuck nigga. Like, I want my damn match. Let's get it cracking. So, uneasy alliance for Okada and Takeshita. Okada has this look on his face like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't.
Right. I'd like that they acknowledged, like, hey, man, we didn't just transfer Okada off and we're not just done with the whole elite thing or whatever else. So I'm glad they did that. And I also like the part, or I don't know if I like it because it keeps happening. And then, like, I keep not getting this match, but it's like at some point they keep teasing me that I'm going to get a Takeshita and Okada match. And, like, this like the third tease of this damn thing over like the last year. They're going to have to give it to me at some point. So, if not, I don't, but they keep giving me hopes, and my hopes are still high. So one day.
Yeah. Then we got Kota Ibushi versus Trent Beretta. So maybe like a year and a half ago, I came on this podcast and essentially did a fucking like an obituary for Kota Ibushi.
Yes, it was very sad. It was very
over,
sad.
It's done, like, and then like he just wrestles this match and it's like not a bad match, it's like it's fine or whatever. And it's like, is this guy like, can he do this on a regular basis? It's like, all right, obviously this ain't fucking, he didn't try to go crazy or anything, right? And he's wrestling Okada next week. So if there was gonna be a time where it's like, if he want to cop back and be like, this is what I have to offer right now, next week would be it.
Yeah.
Wrestle Kingdom rematch. Legendary match.
Yeah.
Legendary feud. They've had several great matches against each other.
Yeah.
Based on what I saw, I think Ibushi might not be done.
Bro, I saw that. I watched that.
He might be like, he might be able to give us 15 and 5.
So, you just home for out of him. You just home for like, remember when Magic Johnson came out of retirement post HIV for like the 96 Lakers?
Oh my God.
And it's like, wait a second. Like, how is he still good? We thought he was going to die, right? It was so I watched that match the whole time. Let me show you my postures, my position during this match. While I watched it, while I was sitting down and watching it. It was a lot of this, hands on head, like, please be okay. Please be okay. Please be okay. Please don't be terrible. And a lot of hands on, like leaning over into the screen, hands over face, like, so like, please don't be trash. Please still be good. Bro, I watched it. I was like, you know what? He don't look bad. This like the best he's actually looked in AEW. And I was like, I get, the kind of match, I was like, they really being nasty with this just to put this out of 1 week or whatever else. But man, if this match is even like as 80% as good as some of their matches have been, I'm gonna be head over heels, just joyous and like, oh my God, Kota Ibushi isn't dead. So yeah, man, they've done enough. They've done enough for me to be optimistic about Kota Ibushi in 2025 pro wrestling. That's dangerous. They don't know what they've done with this. Please be good. Please be good.
Is he gonna punch Okada in the throat next week? That's all I want to know.
We'll see. They should never gave me hope. That's the
this is a hope giving ass match right here.
Yes,
because
it
the thing was it was
two folds.
It was not some 4-star plus match. It wasn't even that. It was it wasn't a gentleman's 3. It wasn't that either. It was right in the middle. It was hold on.
It was wait a second.
You're just trying to get warmed up here.
Yeah, it was oh my God.
I know you.
He moved like he used to move. Since 2019 with the ankle injury.
He's in great shape too.
Right. Great shape. Moved how he used to move. His instincts are there in a way that they weren't when he's been in AEW. It's hey man.
It seemed like he couldn't anticipate the physicality before. There was just something off. It was it's he didn't know where he was.
He was like a botch machine. Not a botch machine, but he would botch stuff. He'd be that's weird. He used to never botch stuff. Land on his neck all the time, but never botch stuff. So, yeah, man, I am optimistic. Man, if this there have been a few segments in AEW or in One Nation Radio history where I've been beaming with joy and happiness. If Kota Ibushi comes from the dead and comes out here and gives us a classic with Okada, oh man, it would be a very happy moment for One Nation Radio next week. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Y'all don't understand. Those of you guys that did not hear me, basically, after that Mirufuji match,
YouTube.
I was like, it's over, dog. This is one of my favorite wrestlers ever. And it was just no. And then knowing what he looked like in AEW, and then it was oh. So, Slash Size makes a good point. This is TV Okada. Will he bring it, though? These guys are getting a week's worth of advertisement. They shot an angle for it. They shot 2 angles for this. If Kazuchika Okada don't show up, it's on him.
That's the thing I meant as far as the double about it being 2-sided is
they're gonna get time.
They're gonna get time. So Okada, when he gets to go long, is gonna have a great match. It's Ibushi, and then it's all right, if they both have a great match, it's okay, so Ibushi's alive still. That's awesome. That's still an option 2025. And it's so people that are worried about Okada's effort level for the match with Omega is he just had a TV match that was awesome, and people don't think he has good TV matches, but he always has great pay-per-view matches. So it would shut a lot of people up as far as the talk around both of them.
John Moxley cut a promo on Hangman, and brother, I didn't pay attention to a word he said.
This is very good. This
might have been. I just see the Mox promos now, and it's like a reflex. It's just I'm just hiding and ducking my head. That meme of Marquise Daniels, and then the fireworks go off behind him or some shit, and he ducks his head. That's what happens to me when I start hearing the Mox promo. I just start covering my head something's falling behind, bombs going off.
So basically, he is kind of he faces all these guys, and he faces and said, "Will you step up?" And this is a similar situation. It's hey man, you have been the guy. Can you be the guy? Will you not disappoint me? And there's a lot of hey, you've done, it's a lot of, you've been through a lot of inner turmoil and a lot of self-doubt in your own careers. Are you going to be able to snap out of that and rise to the occasion when all the chips are on the line or whatever? Because I'm not going to falter or whatever else. You got to earn it with me. And I was you know what? In a way, he's almost he's a bad guy, but he's almost hey, I'm almost a fan of yours too. And I kind of want you to not to be in your head and being a fuck up. Can you get it? Can you hold it together enough to be the champion? Can you save this promotion, Adam Hangman Page? So I actually liked it.
Gotcha. Oh, that's good. So I got my reflexes getting me here. The next part,
this is the best part when he's cutting a while.
Got you.
Yeah.
The next part cracked me up because they showed Ricochet recruiting AR Fox for a match.
Yeah.
And Renee was interviewing AR Fox for some reason. I don't know what Fox had to say, but they talked about his recent momentum despite a tough loss of Moxley. Ricochet came in with no animosity, no ill will, but rather to recruit AR Fox and his unique set of skills needed for Ricochet's quest for gold. He proposed them teaming up against Jet Speed and to take him out tonight. And then he AR Fox was gonna talk to him, and he like had stuck his hand out, and then Ricochet took that as like, oh yeah, let's make a deal. He shook hands with him. AR Fox has his look on his face, which is great.
It was even better. AR Fox made this face like, I don't know how, he goes cover his mouth with his hand out because he's like, and looks away because he's like, how am I gonna break this when I don't want to work with him because he's evil. But by the time he's like trying to, he looks away and Ricochet's like, oh, his hand's out, shake his hand. And then also Ricochet's like, you shook my hand, appreciate it. And the man don't go back on his word when he shakes his hand. I was like, oh my God, Ricochet, you're fucking hilarious. He's such a great shithead heel, man.
Bro, he's awesome.
He's great.
Fox is like, shit, I'll take the booking. Like, he just comes to it like, I'll take the booking, fuck it. And then they have a match with Jet Speed, and then Ricochet ends up abandoning Fox. Yeah, that's another good one here. My man Speedball Mike Bailey in it. And after that, Kevin Knight basically gave him the UFO splash, gave him the victory.
Yeah, Ricochet realized that like he didn't want to get back in the match. He left him stranded. He left AR Fox stranded.
Fuck no. Terrible. So Jet Speed gets the win. Yep. And then they got interviewed by Tony Schiavone.
Yep.
And they expressed that they want to challenge the AEW Tag Team Champions, the Hurt Syndicate, at All In.
Mm-hmm.
And then Speedball said the tag team titles have been held hostage for way too long, and it's time for someone to come to their rescue. This may or may not have been a shoot. Kevin Knight basically said those teams have been held hostage worse than OKC has been holding the Supersonics hostage all these years. Kevin Knight is from Washington. So it's time for them tag titles to come home. All of a sudden, Hurt Syndicate folks came out looking cool as fuck. Then they beat Jet Speed's ass, of course. And then Lashley choked Knight out. And they put them both through a table after that.
Yep.
MVP grabbed the mic and said, challenging anybody brave enough to step up to their dominance. Will someone please stand up to the AEW Tag Team Champions? And,
yeah.
You issue the challenge and you get your ass whooped immediately.
Yep.
Love that. Just love that.
It'll really get you over. It really makes you want to see the match.
Basically.
All right, can't you wait for them to not sell for them?
Look, they better switch them fucking belts, dog.
Yeah,
I'm done with it.
They need to go ahead and do that so they can get to whatever we're going to do with a trios run for them. Let them be the trios champions. Put it on them.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Get them away from the tag division. You got the Young Bucks. You got Ospreay and Swerve. You got FTR, and they all just avoiding them niggas. And it's so obvious that like even MVP said, hey, no one wants to wrestle us. Yeah, no one does want to wrestle you. Move, nigga, move,
nigga.
You can't even think about that. But yeah, they gotta go, bro. You gotta move them out the way. No one wants to do a program with them because they don't want to do a program. They don't want to do no real program. Their idea of a program is we beat you, we slap you some skin and whoop your black ass.
Yep.
And then we stick your face in some doo-doo and then we step over you and annihilate the Gators. Like that's their idea of a program. No, man.
And we hold the belts up after over you, and then our cool ass song plays, and then
we hurt you, and then we play a song that says it had the crowd say we hurt people. What does that mean for you? Who gives a shit? What's your name?
Right. So MJF gets on the mic. And he says he's going to participate in the qualifying match for the men's casino gauntlet at All In, trying to reclaim what he views as his rightful AEW World Championship. So this nigga has went from the main event to Ospreay to the gauntlet all in 3 years. What a fall from grace. Mark Briscoe interrupted, basically said, he talked about MJF's insults and deeper issues, saying, I feel like all those hurtful comments that come from your mouth, they come from a place of insufficiency. And he basically said empathy was his word of the day. Yes. He basically said, if I'm MJF and I've been going damn near 30 years with a teeny tiny kosher pickle in my pants, I probably would want to hang out with those fellas too. MJF and Mark Briscoe is a natural match, I think.
Also, Thanks, Mark Briscoe, for telling us you watch. You like to watch interracial porn. That's what he just did. The flashing white guy hangs around the big buff neck black guys. Gee. I wonder if he likes to watch cuckold videos. Jesus Christ.
See, I didn't get that. I think it was more a.
Why else would he talk about his penis? And then why else would they show the three
trying to overcompensate?
After they did that, they cut to the wide shot in the camera of MJF losing his mind, MVP trying to console him, and then they show Shelton and Bobby Lashley laughing like, yeah, we do have big dicks. Ha ha ha. And he has Tiny Pecker. Ha ha ha. I was like, oh man, get out of here. Too much porn brain, bro. Porn brain is rotted everyone's brain, bro. That's exactly what the jokes were. What else would he be talking about?
I think he was just trying to overcompensate for his shortcomings.
Now you know how we always talking about like MJF and him having fat brain. That whole entire thing is something that pinched Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon laughs his ass off and said, "Put it on, Raw, brother."
Hurt. So they do a 4-way for the number 1 spot in the men's casino gauntlet. Mark Briscoe versus Bandito versus Roderick Strong versus Konosuke Takeshita.
A match.
Yeah, man.
So I wanna point out something, and I'll say it again in the next one. So you got those 4 guys, as you mentioned: Bandito, Konosuke Takeshita, Mark Briscoe, 4th person being Roddy Strong, right?
Roddy.
Those are 6 singles matches I want to watch. Right? Like, one guy versus the other 3. The second guy versus the other 2. The last 2 versus each other. That's 6 matches. I want to see all 6 of those matches.
I feel like Bandito's getting even more over of late.
I can see that.
They did announce Bandito versus Konosuke Takeshita for the ROH belt the weekend of All In.
Yep. That's on Thursday, right? Or Friday? Friday.
I think Friday.
That's Friday. Because Thursday is going to be Collision.
Yeah. Might have to try to talk my way into the building somehow.
Oh, you gonna talk? Can you talk another person into the? Can you talk 2 people into the building?
You never know. Oh, might be able to make them happen. I know enough folk.
Well,
so we'll
see. That's something I would like to see.
Yeah.
Should we cut this? Should we cut this on the podcast? Do we need to cut this? Look, cut the cameras, dead ass. Cut the stream.
Oh man. So let's end with Mark Briscoe getting the win. Froggy Bow onto Roddy Strong. I wish.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Bandito should have necessarily been in this match if he's an ROH World Champion. Give him some type of, I don't know, whatever. Adam Cole was with the Don Callis family, and he basically issued an open challenge to any of them. And I was like, yo, like, I'm looking at everybody on this fucking show, and I start seeing Adam Cole all the time with this belt, and I'm just like there's so many bad motherfuckers around like this shit. And then when Adam Cole says, "I'm gonna whoop your ass," it's so unbelievable.
Well, Rich, this is how people that our age felt back in 1995 and 6 when Shawn Michaels was beating people's asses. So
at least Shawn Michaels was athletic. Like, he could jump off some shit and hit somebody.
So he could crash and fall. Crash and burn. I like a good crash and burn wrestler, right? That's Darby Allin. That's Manami Toyota. You know that.
Bro, I need Kyle Fletcher to kick this nigga's head off, bro.
I mean, that's what the feud has been. It's been him versus Kyle Fletcher. So yeah, man, I don't mind it. I like what Adam Cole's been doing when I've seen it, so I haven't had much of an issue, honestly. Like, I would say this, I think they need to prioritize that belt once they combine the Omega and Ospreay belts. Omega and the Okada belts. Once they do that, then they need to reprioritize the TNT.
Man. 4-way match, the women's one, Willow Nightingale versus Athena versus Chris Statlander versus Thunder Rosa. It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one, man.
JBPW. Rich, this is another match where it's like, I want to see all 6 of those matches.
Thunder Rosa was getting clipped up bad in this one. Like, they was sending out her stuff. People was burying her. I honestly didn't really pay much attention to Thunder.
Fine. I just watched the match today. I thought she was fine.
Like, I didn't pay much attention to her, but because I was kind of more interested in seeing Athena in,
Athena was awesome.
AEW proper. And I was looking at Statlander, Will Nightingale, like, it just felt like Thunder was just there too for me. I didn't necessarily notice her in a good way or bad way. But I see some people singing "Outstanding" for Thunder Rosa. That's hilarious. But this whole thing turned into the Marina Shafir and Wheeler Yuta thing that's going on with Statlander and Willow. Mm-hmm. And this ended with Marina distracting Willow. And then Statlander gave
Willow. Okay, so Marina runs out to ringside, or walks out to ringside. Wheeler Yuta gets in the ring and he's going to attack Willow. Willow ducks it and pounces Yuta, which is fucking hilarious. And that leaves her able for Statlander to hit a big move and pin Willow. The shit was hilarious. Wheeler Yuta is like an amazing bump guy. Like, he's just a geek. He's funny as shit. Like, he does nothing except go out there, get his ass beat. It's hilarious.
So, Statlander gets the number 1 spot. I imagine her and Willow gonna have, more to settle at All In. But man, bro, the Willow and Statlander, I saw a clip of their match from All Out last year, some highlight tape that came up on the timeline. I was like, they're so fucking raw together. And it's it just feels like whatever's happening right now is beneath them. There's just not either no spots or focus for them.
That's what it is. It's just lack of focus.
I'm just oh man, it feels like their stuff should be paying off at a higher level, but. You got Mercedes and you got Tony there, and
But you would think that if Mercedes and Tony are not in their own separate thing and they're actually facing each other, there should be a number 2 storyline right now in the women's division, like there normally is when either it's Mercedes or it's Tony are doing it. Nope. It's like, we put the people that have the 2 storylines we normally put together, and there's no room for a second storyline right now, except for gauntlet matches or whatever else, multi-person matches. Yeah, it's frustrating. Yeah, especially when it's those 4 in the ring and they're all fucking good and they went out there and had a good ass match, and then it's for the Marina thing, and it's I don't know what the payoff for this is going to be, but I don't think it's going to be that Marina finally gets her way into the division and builds herself up. I don't think it's that, because I think if you start putting her in the ring with that level of wrestler, it's going to expose her. That Mystique is
she's kind of just
she's a heater.
Conduit.
She's not
she's like a conduit. She's like a conduit to get Willow and Statlander trusting each other less. I feel like. Yeah, and then eventually more. Maybe she's the reason why they eventually come together, or they I think that's a plan. Is they're using her to get them back together as a friendship or whatever else. But that's cool. But it's hey, what's going to be the second women's match on this show? And it better not be the gauntlet. I'm terrified. So it should be so I don't know. Maybe they're hey, we'll make it that so we can. That's our excuse to. That's the one storyline you could care about in the gauntlet. But it's hey man, that don't seem like enough. Oh, this is it's going to be the title match, and then this is going to be it. It ain't enough. And I think that I'm terrified where the Will and Statlander thing is leading, because it just feels like Marina's also going to need some help, and who is out there, and get ready.
I mean,
you know,
she was on Ring of Honor last year, wasn't she?
So I wasn't talking about her with Ronda, but I was talking about Shayna. So, and then it leads to like tag belts and other shit I don't want to see. But
that's not a hire I'd make if I were them.
A lot of friends, a lot of places.
A lot of people got friends in places they ain't get hired at post getting cut by WWE.
I feel like the wheels are in motion on this. So, I feel like the Stat and Willow thing. Like,
let me guess.
I don't think they're building to a match with them.
What?
They're not building to a match with them. Like, I think they're building them to be the champs or something.
No, but he also another part, right? Another part.
What's up?
As you mentioned, friends and all this other shit. Death Riders, the Barnettism of it all. Yep, the Barnettism is going to win. So Baszler comes in, Barnett, Moxley, Shayna, Marina. Yeah, I can see that now. Thanks, Rich.
That's like my prediction for all this. So like that's why I'm like it just not. I hope they don't do that. I hope I put that out in the air, and then that idea gets swatted down. By whoever the fuck, by the universe. They swat it down.
It was 6 years ago. I saw a lot of this shit. Actually, shit is longer than that. 2018 through 19. So that was like 7 years ago. I saw a lot of the shit that Baszler was doing with people or whatever else, and the mileage varying over that, whatever else. But like everybody she wrestled, all ended up bigger stars than her.
Yeah. Anyway,
not that it matters about stardom or whatever, but I mean, like as far as like, hey man, like better wrestlers too.
Last eyes, is James ready for when they do Stat and Willow versus FWC?
Where are they doing that at? Ring of Honor?
I don't know.
Look, wherever they do that, yeah, I'm ready. Cause like I gotta get my tickets together to fly out there or drive out there to see it. You know how awesome that fucking match would be, Rich?
Probably really good.
That match would be fucking awesome. Like I can already see Kaguma being folded in half by like a Statlander German suplex. I can already see it. It's amazing.
So they had FTR respond to the Outrunners. A bunch of hilarious lines from Stoke. Basically saying FTR was too heartbroken and disappointed to speak. That, talking about their retaliation was good old-fashioned vandalism. He said cooler heads prevailed. They called them God-fearing family men and upstanding citizens. And basically, they want to meet them face-to-face on Collision to clear the air. So, are they going to do FTR and Outrunners on All In? Like,
no.
Are they going to do that?
They're going to get heat by beating the shit out of them. And that's the only use that Outrunners have at this point. Have FTR beat the shit out of them and move on. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, it was announced for Collision. Okay, I don't care.
Oh, it's already announced. Okay, cool.
All right, cool.
Collision
Beat
100.
the hell out of them on Collision.
Awesome.
Cool. I already said it's being announced for all. I'm like, oh, no, we wasting spots.
That would be very bad. Hangman Page versus Beast Mortos. What a fucking, just like this is sitting there, like, to be able to book. When I say Tony Khan has 400 of these, these are one of them. Like, just this guy Mortos fucking rules.
No one man should have all that power.
Yeah, it's like, you can put him against any fucking top guy, any high flyer, like, man, this nigga rules, bro.
The in between the ropes tornado, I was like, yep. It's not like I haven't seen him before. It's like, yep. He's so fucking talented, man.
It's just like he's getting his shot seemingly like in, with the Arena Mexico stuff, with this, and then he's picking up some momentum. They might actually push him one day. Like, this nigga might turn into like the Ishii of AEW right now. The way this shit is going.
That's funny.
So Heyman did get the win.
Intergender match I want to see. Mortals versus Athena. That'd be fucking awesome, by the way.
Yeah. Ortos versus Mercedes. After that, we had a post-match, and it was darkness covered up the arena. After that, we got Matt and Nick Jackson came out. The Bucks viciously assaulted Hangman. They struck him with the EVP trigger
for the 45th version of you have been ejected from the Elite. Lights cut off, they show up and they super kick you or they hit you with an EVP trigger for the millionth time. This man,
good old lore.
Do you remember when Marty Scurll showed up to replace Adam Cole in the Elite
with the NXT, umbrella?
With the NXT, you remember that?
With the umbrella?
Yeah, lights off. Like it's always lights off. They show up and they just kick people in the face or knee them in the face. This is just straight out their playbook. Once a lot of us, I was like, it's them. It's nigga Matt.
So
sorry, Nicholas and Matthew. Sorry.
This was the revenge from the Arena Mexico shit last week. And then the Death Riders came out. Moxley, Wheeler Yuta, and Marina Shafir came out and started fucking more of Hangman up. Put a chain around his neck. Yep. Then Samoa Joe and the Ops came out to Hangman's defense. Will Ospreay then came out, trying to stop Moxley from there. And then everybody was like,
important detail. Ops couldn't get into the ring because everybody from Death Riders to the Young Bucks had chairs, so they basically were held at bay at ringside. Couldn't get into the ring to save Hangman until Ospreay showed up and he had an opening to run straight into the ring, and it's cleared him out. Also of note, Swerve may or may not have showed up, but he was escorted out of the arena, so he couldn't even there wasn't no potential for him to even make a save because he was away. He was gone. He was escorted out.
So they're building that up. Like there's going to be a day where Swerve comes and saves this man, and it's going to be like, I think people are going to react very positively to that.
So they tease that chain, so it might be Texas Death. I don't know if they're going to go there yet, but if it is Texas Death, it's going to be run-ins galore, and like there's going to be a spot where Swerve comes out there, and Swerve might actually hand that briefcase over to Hangman Page. There's a potential for
strap the belt around his waist or some shit. I don't know. I don't know how far to. I don't know.
But he can handle the briefcase. Can't be, we can't be doing too much. We can't be doing too much for this white man. All right, relax. Hand the briefcase, but a handshake might be too far. And putting the belt. Look, he is not Tam Nakano, and he is not Sayaka Matani. You cut this shit out, Rich. You stop it.
But yeah, like they're clearly setting that up. Like, and I don't know if people in the building like realize it or not, but like there was a feeling like people were waiting for the last person to come, and he never came or whatever.
That's why they threw him out earlier. That's why they did that to get him out of there, so to make you be like, we want him to come out, but he can't because even if he wanted to, he couldn't be that he was thrown out.
Yep.
And the way that the funny part about it is like when he did the swerve stomp that he does on the crowd, he didn't even hit the ref. He was like, the ref was like the 7 or 10 bowling ball where like he hit all these people and then they all collapsed and then they collapsed on the ref and then the ref fell. So it's like, the ref is collateral damage. He didn't actually intend to hit the ref.
Yeah. But yeah, another solid week heading into All In. We got the show this week, which is Dynamite 300. Of course, we got Mercedes versus Mina. We got Ibushi versus Okada. All these Tokyo Dome matches happening on this show. I don't know what else they're going to do on the show, but we got that one. And then next week, they're in Texas. And when do you fly out, James? Do you fly in Thursday there?
It'll be Thursday.
Yeah, I got an early morning Thursday flight, so I will be there quite early. So it's going to be a fun week if you guys are in Texas and all that, and you're going to All In.
Are you and Jeremy still in for Texas Death on Saturday?
Yeah. Okay. Like,
we gotta.
I'm in all right shape.
We gotta convince Josh Smith to be in on Texas Death.
Yeah,
we got to see.
Like,
I might be able to try. We might be able to try to get Floyd in on it too. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm off training this week, so I'm trying to keep myself like not from having a bad week essentially. And then I'm training back next week before I got 2 classes before we go. So I think if I just, if I keep myself good from now until I fly out, I'll be ready for that workout or whatever.
You'll be ready for it regardless. Like, you know how it is. It's like, it's at your own, all this shit is meet you where you are, right? Like, I ain't expecting y'all to do what I can do, and I ain't expecting to be able to do what somebody that's, a different level of me can do. It's like, it's just about like, go out there and, clang and bang a little bit as far as, and run around and do some burpees and have fun for 45 minutes or whatever version of fun you consider working out is. Some people hate that shit, and I'm one of those people. I just happen to be a masochist. So
damn, I'm gonna have to bring some like actual shoes to work out in.
Ooh. I mean, you just wear basketball shoes. I know you got some of those still.
Yeah. But I wanted to say one last thing. So we didn't get a chance to really talk about it at all this month or whatever. But it is Pride Month, like in.
Ooh, boy, we cutting it close. In this last day of Pride Month?
Yeah, it is. So, like, I definitely wanted to, like, I know there are too many people that listen to One Nation Radio for no one to be a part of the LGBTQ community. I just want to let you know, I am not the person that I am without, the influences of gay and lesbian people on me in my personal life, in my family. And, I've gone to a Pride event before, showing solidarity and like, just hoping that wherever you are in the state of this country, and, you feel like your freedoms are being attacked, I stand with you. This show stands with you. And I think that it is, it's sad that a lot of people have to go through their life and, be afraid of being themselves or being who they really want to be. For those of you that, have made that choice to live, your way that you feel about yourself, that you want to give to the world. And, for those of you maybe that are not, comfortable with sharing it yet, just know I'm with you. And, I played, some music earlier, like I said, like the music I enjoy, like some of that shit comes from, like house music that directly from gay folks. And like, I think it is really important that I say this now because like we had the whole month to say it and it just like didn't like present itself, but I was just thinking about it today. And I just want to let everybody know that I fuck with y'all, like, and, keep doing y'all thing. So yeah.
Yeah, man, like it's really weird how the last almost decade at this point is like gone as society, as far as like the regression from some of the progression that like growing up in my life, I thought like people that were disenfranchised or on the outskirts of society were treated, and I thought like, okay, so we are getting to the point where like the shit they say in the Constitution actually holds up, like, equal opportunities for everybody. And, like, to see that, like, the constant back and forth of, like, oh, we don't like that people can actually have a fair shot at living life with dignity. And we're going to try to yank this shit back. It's been a huge frustration for me over the past decade. And, yeah, man, like, that's the fight for gay rights is definitely part of that. So, happy Pride Month to everybody, and we should have said it earlier.
Yep. So, I guess we can wrap it up from there.
Yeah, thanks for listening, y'all. If you are watching from the stream, be sure to go to the show notes on the podcast when it's up and go to the Red Circle link and you can donate there. Also, check out our store on Chop Tees, and be sure to listen to other shows on the network. Besides One Nation Radio, you have Keepin It Strong Style, All Things Elite, AEW Match Guide, MW Adventure, Wrestling, Art with Chris Things, Tunnel Talk, and the Trish and Sarah Wrestling Podcast. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.